Welcome to selfdiscoverymedia.com, where we discover the communities that are making a difference in the lives of others. Our self-discovery is something we are all making on our life's journey. Here you will find the people that will be your guidance, that will be your inspiration, that will be there for you in support on your journey of life. Do enjoy. Our next show is... Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Building Your Business right here on selfdiscoverymedia.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy, and my beautiful guest here today is Italina Kirkness. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And it's all about creating our own rich life. Now, is this financial richness? Is this soul, heart, and spirit richness? Well, really, they all go together. But societal and familial norms and pressures and the long list of expectations and obligations that were our burden, that we were burdened with, can make it difficult for us to pursue our passions and our profit from over our passions. So she says, however, regardless of what's been expected of you or where you are now in your life, you can create your own rich life. Prepared to be over the top inspired with Create Your Own Rich Life. Nothing to waste. Make it greater later. Act in the face of fear. I love that. Yeah. A lot of people are just wanting to wait until everything is in place. Then I'll do it. Oh, that's got to be perfect. That's got to be perfect. And I said, get your fundamentals in, get the bases in, but you'll know what you need as you grow, right? So perfection can be a lack of creativity and even destroy any of that creativity coming to the forefront. Welcome to the show, love.
Thank you so much. Very true. Yes. So yeah, that was an amazing introduction. That's precisely what I went through. I came from the legal field. I graduated from law school, like there's a lot of law school graduates out there. And I had the so-called dream job that everybody wanted, but I could not find my joy.
Mm,
And I feel like I can do anything for a season, but I was
mhm.
like, this is going to be the rest of my life. And
Right.
I can't live the rest of my life this way.
Yeah. People don't realize that, do they? I mean, I've had many jobs, even many careers, and each one at the time is serving a purpose. Maybe it's just paying the rent, it's just while you're looking at something else, it's just. But when you step into something that's your passion and that a real commitment and a real drive to do with it, then that's a totally different ball game. And that's really where we want to be, isn't it? Find something that brings out our passion.
That's very true. That's very true. And the truth is, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea. And you're going to find this very interesting. I thought, well, I am smart enough to switch careers.
Mhm.
And I didn't have all the pieces all laid out. I thought, well, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go on LinkedIn and the job searching tool and go on there. So I knew that first step. That's all I knew. And I started sharing my insights, my knowledge. And guess what? I didn't have to spam out my resume anywhere.
Mm,
People, companies started reaching out to me all because I was doing what we do today is posting. I was posting. This was back in 2010. And I
mhm.
was just sharing my knowledge, sharing what I know. And companies were attracted to me. And that's how my opportunities came my way.
Right. Social media gets a bad rap. And we've got to remember it's an algorithm. We are an algorithm. We're trying to match people that's on the same vibe as us, that can hear us or camaraderie, support, or collaboration. But it's people that are in that same vibe, bundle, the same orchestra, so to speak. And we only do that by really cruising along. You have to be able to put the effort in online. And it's not about how many likes, how many followers. It's about the people you're interacting with. And people think, well, it's just social media, it's online, who interacts there? There's a huge interaction opportunity, huge. And you never know where it's going to go. But the thing is, one foot in front of the other, start somewhere.
Yes, so I have to tell you exactly where it went for me. So because these companies were seeing my posts, what I was sharing, they were like, "Italina, we see you everywhere. We love what you're doing. We want you to do it for us." So
Yeah.
they didn't even know what to call it. This is back in 2010. didn't even know it was
Right,
called, like we
way
went to
ahead of
the
the
store.
time.
And today, what we would call it is probably relationship
Mm,
marketing or personal branding. It was very personalized, just me sharing my knowledge and expertise. And these companies and business owners and businesses and small businesses, they wanted to put that human touch to the face of
mm,
their company, to the face of their businesses. And that's what I was doing for them. And that's how I fell into being the social media specialist.
mhm. Um, that is, one of the things that I find really great about where we're going in business. And of course, 2020 was really that shakeup, and where people kind of looked at their own businesses, looked at their own practices. They had a pause to reflect, a time to review, to renew, go in a different direction. And I think it was most certainly a year of humanity stepping up. Yes, it had the divide. It drew the line, people who don't care, people who do care, but for businesses, they understood that relationship they have with potential clientele, with colleagues that they work with, that you really do have to invest the time into a relationship to nurture it. And that if you even do it online, it can expand your global presence so much. So it's not about like, follow me, blog, post. It is about interacting and treating someone as a human being.
Absolutely. And the truth is, these are real people
Yeah.
online. They're not just squares in a face in squares. These are real people who work in real companies or have their own businesses. And that truly, as people, we are each other's greatest resource. We are each
Amen to
other's
that.
greatest resource.
Yes.
Magic doesn't happen on the couch. Magic happens as a result of connecting with another human being and seeing what opportunities are there. So that's really the truth of the matter is. And if we took that word social media and replaced it with networking, that's really
Mhm.
what it is, especially in these times, this online world, this pandemic lifestyle we're living. That's the truth of the matter. There are so many opportunities and people you wouldn't even meet if it weren't for being online. So there's a lot of good opportunity out
Right.
there.
If you're working one-on-one or in a small parameter, you're only working with your own demographics. Now, the beauty of being online, you literally can work with people around the world and you can learn about different cultures and different practices. And it helps you evolve your own business into different directions. I'm getting a lot of interest from that part of the world. They
Mhm.
need this from us. Excuse me. So it's about that participation and
Mhm.
also looking at each other. I know people, oh, I know, but I like the real thing, the face to face. We are face to face right now. We're sharing energies right now. Just because that happens to be on a machine rather than us sitting side by side with a camera filming us, it's still the same thing. It's about that vibrational connection.
Very true. Very true. To kind of finish off that story, what happened after I left my career, my so-called good job, and started working on LinkedIn and connecting with businesses who want my help. While I didn't have it all figured out, uh, I ended up building up a clientele and having to officially start a company. And eventually, it took a couple, good 2 or 3 years, made my first hire and ended up building my business over the years, building up my team. Well, if you would have told me while I was in law school that that was going to happen, I had no idea.
Right.
But I took that first step in connecting with people, and the internet allows us to do that.
Yeah. I mean, you're not the only ex-lawyer I've interviewed, and they say that a lot of the time it's the parental pressure, the status of being the lawyer, but it's a very cutthroat business and sometimes a very unjust business. Um, so one has to go where the heart feels it can thrive.
Yeah.
And clearly with you, in the law industry, it's just you didn't feel any thriving there. So but you were willing to explore. You didn't know what you were going to do, what the redirection was going to be. Even when you started doing it and got hired to do it, you still didn't know this was going to be a future path. If we could stop looking at the tomorrows and dictating what the tomorrows should be and start looking at the present, what am I doing in the now? Because what I'm doing in the now, if it's good seeds,
Mm.
they're going to be there tomorrow that I can water and nurture. If not, then they won't grow. But it's now that we're living and we need to live in joy. We need to live in joy of what we do because if not, we're not doing it very well.
Mhm. And that's a lesson that I had to learn, what you said, living in joy. When I first found myself unhappy in a legal field, I thought, well, Italina, this is just a part of growing up. You're an adult now. You're not supposed to be happy.
Boulder Dash.
And I thought, no, I can't live like this. And I think there's a lot to be said about going on here, whether you call it intuition or that feeling. And I just had this feeling like another way. And I went with it. And I think sometimes we don't trust that
Mm,
feeling because there's no, I don't know, science or whatever behind it. But once I trusted that feeling, then flow happened. Things started
yes.
falling into place. And that's I couldn't plan that, and that's okay.
And some people say, "But oh, but it's a waste of years of training to be a lawyer, and then working up the ranks and gaining more prestige and gaining, the money and then everything else." And it's like, just because you did it and you've reached that level doesn't mean you're still meant to be there. All the skills that you learned as a lawyer, all the things that worked, you can now apply to what you are really loving doing because they become your tools in your toolkit.
Sarah, you're exactly right. That's why I say nothing is a waste.
Mm-mm.
Everything we do is to build us up and to develop us, right? They build us into who we need to be for that
Yes.
next step.
Yeah.
And there's definitely things that have carried over from that legal field that I still use in my work today as a businesswoman. So, and being a professional, interacting with others, right? There's so much. So nothing is a waste. I'm a
No.
full heart.
And if you don't try, you don't succeed. Right? So, and or you can have a blueprint of something you would like to achieve. I would love to do this. My blueprint came to me 3 years ago. Actually, this month, 3 years ago. And it gave me the entire visuals, and I did a banner, blah, 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 blah. That's how I want it to be. This is where I want to go. This is what I want to achieve. But then I had to have patience. I've put the vision out there. I have looked at how I could ignite it here and there. Is even there an interest in what I'm doing? And this year is the year that we're actually going to do it because I'm aligning with someone else as well, and not just me. Be patient. Just because you see it doesn't mean it is there right now or that you're meant to even be working on it full force right now. That's
Yeah.
where that nurturing of the seeds comes, and it will grow when it's ready.
That's right. I definitely believe in that as well. There are certain things that I definitely get excited about doing, and I just have to push it over in a calendar, put it to another date, or
Yeah.
so it doesn't disappear completely. But I don't feel this anxiety around. I've got to do it now. I can
Mm.
kind of slide it to the next date. As far as um, you know, I think the balance too is being able to take that next step, even if you're not completely ready.
Hmm.
I saw a meme the other day that said if I waited till I got all my ducks in a row, like it just would never happen. So while I didn't know what was going to happen with my career and leaving my job, things work out because at least you're taking some action step. You're following that blueprint, and then things unfold.
Right. I mean, the only time you're going to have your ducks all in a row is if they're stuffed. Because what ducks are going to sit around waiting for you to all be in a row, right? So, and also, but also I think we kill our own creativity if we want everything in order. If we take the order and bring it to the chaos of life, then we actually understand what really is important. And this is why, like, nothing is a waste. And you didn't know that this is what you were going to be doing now. You're in law school, you're going to do law, you're there for a reason, you want to make a difference. And then it was just not your soil. All right.
Yes.
But you didn't wait for something to come to you. You just decide, well, let's just go and explore. And I think that's a thing, something as human beings we're too scared to do because we want everything to be secure. But is it all right to take that road? Is there a manual? Do you have a map? What are the destination spots? Stop worrying about that. Make sure you're well equipped for the journey, right? And one foot in front of the other. Just
That's
go.
You're right. You're right. And then you can make it greater later.
Yes, that's another great saying. Yeah, that's what the improvement comes from, right? From the experience, you realize I need A, B, and C, and that's
Mhm.
how you create that, and now it's really great. But
Right.
to wait for that greatness, as I said, stuffed ducks. They're just,
Improvement comes by the doing, the being ready, quote unquote, comes by the doing. You get ready by doing.
yes, you learn
And it's
what's needed by doing, right?
right. You got it. And I can think of a ton of stuff that, sure, I look back at some, so just as a simple example, my YouTube channel. I launched a YouTube channel when I first started my company in 2012. So by now I have over 100 videos there. And I can certainly see how at the very early stages, the videos were terrible. Like I'm semi-embarrassed. I kind of cringe a little when I look at my earlier videos, and you can see the improvement as I've gone on. But
Yeah.
it's like, you know what? The truth is, even though those first videos aren't the highest quality, they still allow people to get to know me. They
And
still,
about
they
the
still
content,
the
about what you're
content is
sharing,
there.
right? Mm,
It's still good stuff, and I got better because I did those.
mm. I think people are constantly looking for permission.
Mm,
My responsibility is I need permission from others to go and do.
mhm,
Oh, I need the purpose before I do it. You know,
mhm,
uh, I need to have the passion in order for me to step out of my comfort zone and do it. But
mhm,
all of those things are restraints that hold you back. And yeah, not everybody is going to flap their wings and move forward.
mhm.
But we're talking to the people out there that the feathers are just beginning, like, oh, what's good? You want to take flight? Okay, let's stretch the arms out a little bit, right? And it's don't worry about the destination. Again, just prepare for the journey and let the journey unfold. Let
Yeah.
it tell its story because if you told me, I mean, started this in 2012 myself, and I've been doing this 8.5 years now, 7.5 years my own network. And if you told me that, you're going to do podcasting, it's going to have a huge effect around the world, you would have been laughable because I was extremely limited on the computer, what I could do, I just couldn't see myself doing it. But somebody invited me to do it on their network. And I joined them live shows for 13 months. Won't do live, never do live, shows on my platform again. But it was such a good training ground. But it was also where I got to experience, I really love doing this. So
Yes.
we have to step into something and just try some things out. It doesn't mean you need to jump in and it's fixed. Try it out.
Mhm.
Does it feel right on you? Can you expand on that? Or is it just one of the tools that you're needing for the journey?
Yeah, it's all a part of the process. It's all a part of the experience. And I think like you've been giving some excellent visuals, Sarah. And one that I have is, when I have extreme motion sickness. So while I love traveling, the journey is rough for me.
Mm,
And so I liken as far as the journey, like embrace the journey. I used to say, I wish I could just beam me there. No,
yes.
embrace the journey. Find
Beat
a
me up,
way to
Scotty.
enjoy the journey. You know,
Mm,
um, permission. Oh, that's a huge
yes.
issue that's got people in paralysis. And I'm not. I'm gonna. I was one of them.
Mm,
And I remember sitting down with a friend. Unfortunately, I had a good friend. I told them. I said, you know what? I want to be considered because once I started, I remember it was 2014. And so I was a couple years into my business. I had a good clientele, but I wanted to do major public speaking. I know I went to like huge stages. I was a championship level tennis player, and I've played in arenas, and I
mm,
thought I want to speak now in huge stages. And I told my friend, but who am I? What am I thinking that I'm
mm,
going to do that?
mm,
And I wanted to make my job title because at the time I just called myself like a social media manager, something of that nature. And I said, I want to be the go-to,
yeah.
like online presence expert. But I was like, but who am I? Like, who am I call myself an expert? Like an expert. And my friend said, you're looking for permission.
Mm,
And
mm,
he said, well, I give it to you, permission. And if you connect with me on LinkedIn, you'll see it says that online presence expert.
mm-hmm.
And you know what, Sarah? I got to speak in front of some large stages. The largest audience I was able to speak in front of was over 4,000 professionals. Just recently, I spoke virtually in front of over 10,000 registrants and have a national company, all because I allowed myself that permission to be seen as an expert, something greater.
Mm,
And I hope that comes as a valuable story for anyone
right.
listening.
You hit on another one of my favorite words, allow.
Mm.
Allow. Allow life to happen to you. Allow yourself to redirect. Allow yourself to say, this isn't working for me. I need to explore and go in a different direction. Allow yourself, because without that allowing, permission is fine. You're looking for permission from someone else, but that allowing is you're allowing the universe to align with you and guide you forward
Mhm.
and to tap into those wonderful instincts, that intuition. And so you're not just flapping in the wind, but it's also allowing other people to inspire you and teach you along the way, right?
Absolutely, you nailed it. And that goes to why it's so important to have the right people in our lives, because there's going to be a ton of people who, when you're making that shift, are going
Hmm.
to be like, "What are you doing? What are you doing?"
Yeah.
So definitely, I think we have to get to a quiet place, hear our own voice, our higher self, and to quiet out that noise, go with our feeling, trust that feeling, and just be okay with it. And while at that time being considered or calling myself an online presence expert was not comfortable, now I'm comfortable.
Yeah. Yeah. And why? Because you've had the experience.
Mhm.
It's coming from the core of you. And people know the difference. We know the speakers, however eloquent they can be. We know those that are just speaking from the head up, right? We want the speakers that come from the heart and that speak to our hearts. And it doesn't matter if it's in business or whatever the subject is. We want to know you're genuine, that you're authentic, that this is a passion of yours. I feel it. I'm tired of just the head speakers because it's just, yeah, da, 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 da. But if you haven't connected with me with the heart, if I'm not inspired by what you say, how am I going to be moved to doing anything with it?
Yes, yes. That's actually one of my core values. Be inspiring.
Mm,
Be inspiring. That's very important to me. I think that our number one purpose for being on this planet is to positively impact others. That's why
hmm.
we live in a society,
Yes.
because we're to be impacting others. So that's my belief, and I want to fulfill that purpose, and I'm able to do that fortunately through my business as a vehicle. That my business is a vehicle that allows me to touch a lot of people. And
And,
you also.
as we are going more online now, if, a lot of people have had to close up shop or take their businesses online. And it's like, what do I do now? I mean, so many authors used to have publishers, and publicists that did all these things for you. Well, now you've got to get out and do it. You've got to get out and sell yourself to sell your books. And really, what we're doing is we are selling ourselves first before we're selling a product. Because if people can't buy you, why should they buy from you?
Mhm. You got it. You got it. What's so wonderful is, being a business owner and being self-employed, you get to work on yourself.
Yeah.
And you're inspired to work on yourself. Where I know when I've had jobs, and I'm sure that there's people who have jobs who work on themselves as well, but it's like I feel this sense of urgency to
Mm,
really be the best human I can be, because I am coming into contact with so many people virtually now,
mhm.
and I want to be my best self in doing that.
And the best self you're putting forth is someone who's authentic, somebody who believes in what she's doing, somebody who cares for others, but somebody who cares for herself.
Yes.
That's a
So
big one, caring for yourself. You see so many people go out there in businesses where they're caring for everyone else, but they don't reflect it back on themselves.
right. Yeah. That self-care is huge. And I think we learned that this past year. I won't say that the won't say what it's that, but we learned that this past year that even more that self-care is so huge.
Yeah.
So huge.
It was a time to go in and ask yourself, am I at where I want to be in life? Am I
Mhm.
really enjoying my career? Is this something I want to do for the rest of my life? What
Yeah.
is important? What are really my priorities? And so
Mhm.
many people have pivoted and reshuffled their lives. And we've seen so many people, now use the online as the platform to do it. And you still get a lot of rah-rah people. They're really good rah-rah sellers. But, people may listen to them for a moment, but then it's really what they want is that someone that's speaking to them. Whether it's
Mhm.
999 other people there, they want to know you're speaking to them, that that connection is made. And the only way you can make that connection is when you have a connection within yourself.
Yes, yes. That's huge. That self-awareness,
Yeah.
listening, being able to hear that higher self. I'm sure you do too. So many stories of where I didn't want to do something,
Mm.
but I listened to my higher self and followed the instruction, and magic happened.
Nike did. Just do it. One of the best best sayings ever, just do it. And as Yoda says, don't think it, do it. You
Mhm.
know, that's what you're asking people to do. It's just do it. I know you don't know where you're going. I know you don't know what you need to do, but just put the intention of one foot in front of the other.
One step. That's
What,
one.
be open-minded, be open-souled, be aware of
Mhm.
yourself and the kind of people that you want to be. Not what they do, not what they can make happen for you, but
Yeah.
who they are, right?
Yeah.
Build your tribe.
Mhm. Again, people are our greatest resource.
Yes.
And I happen to start with my LinkedIn people, my LinkedIn connection. Those are real people starting up, where they just be sending them a message or saying, hey, can we hop on a call for a quick 15-minute call, see how we can be a resource. I think that might have been how you and I even met.
Yes,
People,
exactly.
people, it's about having conversations.
We all
But
want a conversation, right? Then this is another way of doing this. I can't meet you for coffee. I've got to drive across town, or you're too far away. But we can meet for the old virtual coffee right here, right? You got your cafe and I've got this, and that's the thing is, whatever you used to do physically, you can still do online, and it is still a connection.
that's
And
right.
but how you're going to do it is respond to people and what they say on their social media,
Mhm.
right? Make a connection with them, be inquisitive of who they are, and set up that call to see if there is a synergy. Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't, but how will you know until you try?
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I'm a big believer in sharing a piece of yourself
Mm,
social media. So that, and it doesn't have to be like I think there's a difference between private and personal. Personal are things that are just as in human, as in not necessarily business related.
right.
Private are things that are behind closed doors that people don't need to know about.
Hmm.
So it's the personal things. And so, for example, I'm a tennis player. I don't mind people knowing that. That's
Right.
non-business related. So I'm going to share a piece of that. And I've often shared photos, videos of me playing tennis on LinkedIn and tying into how the skills and
Hmm.
discipline needed in me becoming a championship level tennis player carries over into business.
Exactly. Exactly. Nothing is a waste again, right?
Mhm.
It's
Yeah,
taking the fundamental teachings and reapplying them to something else.
that's right. And so, if for people who are like, well, I don't really know what to post on LinkedIn, what to share there, there's just one question you have to ask yourself, and that's how you know that it's a good post to share on LinkedIn. It's, can other professionals, whether they be at a job or business owners, would other professionals be able to relate to it? And
Mm-hmm.
they could definitely relate to seeing how the skills in one area carry over to business. And I received a ton of engagement on
Mm-hmm.
that post and met new people as a result.
Right. Um, You've got one about fear, act in the face of fear, but actually, I want to stay with the other loop is there are so many different social media platforms, and you post differently and you interact differently with each one of them. I'm not an Instagram person for business because I really just don't know how to work it from the computer to the phone, and I don't want to be on the phone all day. 7 hours on the computer is enough, thank you. But LinkedIn and Facebook are my main ones because you can interact. So it's finding a couple of social medias that you follow that maybe you've already got followers there, and you can
Mhm.
make that announcement. I'm in a redirection. Don't know
Yeah.
where I'm going, one foot in front of the idea. For all those that have interacted me with in the past, what do you think is good for me? Yeah,
Mhm.
let people participate because we want to. We want to see the best, you have the best journey ever,
Yeah.
right? So that support is really important to have that tribe. And you're only going to do that by building it up. I don't care if you've got a wonderful program. If you haven't clicked on and invited other people to be friends and connect with you, how are they ever going to know?
Exactly. Yeah, it definitely takes a village. It takes a tribe. You can be amazing at what you do, but if people don't know you, if they don't know you exist, they can't take that to offer.
No, mm,
When I
yeah.
was looking for, as far as my shift, one of the things I was doing, as I looked at my network and I saw that they were working at certain companies, I said, "Hey, I'm thinking about applying to this place. Will you put in a word, like bring some attention to my resume?" And they were like, "Yeah, happy to."
Hmm.
We are each other's greatest resource.
And 9 times out of 10, people will be happy to.
Happy
You
to.
get that one person, the narcissistic person that they're the only people that exist. Yeah, fine. You don't want them anyway. You don't want a referral from them, you know. Um, but in my LinkedIn, it changed its algorithm. It changed everything. It became much more friendlier. And I have some wonderful people I've met, like yourself, on there, and gone to the conversation, gone to the show, and gone back again and done it again because you really love their energy, you love that synergy. And it's like, let's keep the story going, right? So it's the persistence that is needed. Now, so many people let that fear get in the way, but yeah, but I don't know how to do it, or I'm not very good on the computer, or I don't people want looking at me, or I don't want people stealing from me, and they put up all the I don't wants instead of this is what I do want out of it, and that's what you should be watering.
Yeah, if we fight for if we fight for those I don't wants, yeah, you're gonna win every
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
And if you fight for the I do's or I'm gonna make it happen, that's gonna happen as well. And while I was very afraid of leaving my safe
yeah.
job, I still took a step. While I was afraid when I first started taking on clients, and am I going to be able to really provide this valuable service because I'm new?
Mm.
Guess what? I got better over time when I started speaking. Oh my God, I'd be so scared going on stage, but you do it. And then, as you know, once you finally do it, you're like, oh, that wasn't so bad.
What were we afraid of? We were afraid of the unknown. But how is it going to be known if you're not willing to explore it? Right?
It's like when people say, "Oh, I don't know that person." Well, you
Right.
got.
Yeah. Or people, just manifesting and waiting for the Amazon delivery. No, you have to be proactive,
There
right?
you go.
Persistently with people. You have to put about a certain amount of time to be proactive and never, ever come from what you want people to expect from you. It's always got to be who you really are, and they're either going to take you or leave you. That's okay. That's their choice. Don't be offended. Don't take it personally, because the people that are with you, they connect with your vibe. They see who you are and what you are. If they don't connect with you, it just means you're not on the same wavelength. Don't take it seriously.
Exactly, exactly. It's all a beautiful journey, and we've all been on this planet long enough to know from experience things always work out in the end. We're still
Yes.
here. That means we know we have proof that things end up working out. It can be really challenging, really tough, and just outright suck sometimes, but in the end, it'll work out.
Yeah, especially if you are persistent, if you keep nurturing,
Mhm,
right? It's not like, oh, I'm going to do this. I've got the next best thing, put it out there, and everybody's going to come running.
mhm,
Everybody wants those 1 million YouTube followers. But now what do you do with it? It's really when you're looking at any form of business or any form of social mediaing, you're building relationships,
for sure.
right?
And you hear over and over the stories of what we see now as huge successes. They heard no's several times. They had
Right.
experienced tons of rejection. They had to try over and over and over. They had to get up again. They had to go through hurt and fear, all that. But you just keep trying. You just have
Right.
to keep
Because
another
we're
day.
resilient. We really are resilient. We've kind of treated ourselves a little bit as these precious things that are going to break. And the more resilient we choose to be, all right, okay, I can't tell you how many times I've landed on my backside, or lost money or, being cheated. But had I not tried, I wouldn't have learned from it. It's always a lesson. Okay,
Yeah.
don't do that. But that was a good idea. I can move that over here, right? So it's don't let the fear stop you. And I mean, that's a huge one because don't talk yourself out of it. The head. will always talk yourself out of it.
Oh yeah.
Listen
Yeah.
to the heart.
There's several times when I've said to myself, okay, let me just go do it before I talk myself out of
Yeah,
it. You can
exactly.
overthink. Like, okay, let
Yes.
me just go like
Yeah.
get my body into action.
Yes.
Out
Yes.
of my head into my body into action.
We've had now for thousands of years the little voice, no, you can't, you shouldn't, nobody wants to hear from you. No, going on and on and on. And that's been the conditioning that's been passed down to us for thousands of years. And that was to keep us in control,
Yeah.
to let us know you're nothing, we're superior, we will conduct you, whether you like the music or not. And this has been the time of revolution, of independent growth. And
Mhm.
as looking at the establishments, all those establishments are saying, no, you're not going to run me by fear. You're not going to
Mhm.
chase me out because of my sex, my color, my anything else. I am just as good as you, and I will do what I need to do, and nobody's going to tell me any otherwise.
Mhm. There's an excellent book, may I recommend, suggest, share here with your audience. It's Jim Quick's Limitless,
Mm-hmm.
Limitless, and you can kind of already tell from the title where it's going. But I trust, I it talks about the brain, like science, the brain. I highly suggest this book, like
Mm-hmm.
highly, highly, highly. And I read a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I probably read about 25 books a year, and of all of them, I would say read this one.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing that stands out for me right now that I would share is, it said in there that our brains are like suggestion engines. There's all these suggestions that these
Hard
thoughts,
drive, a
all
hard drive.
all these things. But guess what? Just they're suggestions. That's all they
Yeah.
are. You get to choose which ones you want to pay attention to. Which thoughts do you want to pay attention to? Sure, there's the suggestion, oh, you're tired, you don't want to do this, or you don't want to do this anymore. There's a suggestion of you know what? I'm gonna keep trying. I'm not a quitter. Things are gonna work out. So you can choose which one you want to follow.
Right.
I
Yeah, I always said that the brain is the hard drive. It's wired to get the body moving, right? But it's the memory, the programming. And what we're looking at is changing that programming, because that programming is passed through our DNA, ancestral, you know, multiple lives, past lives, you name it. It's all that information. So it's this old programming that doesn't reflect your times and where you're at now. And you have to go in there and have a conversation with it and change it. Where that's where the verbiage comes in. Speak to what you want, not to what you fear.
And that's what's so great about doing. The more
Yeah.
we do and have seen that, oh, I can achieve, I can excel when I keep trying. And so you start creating that history with yourself.
Mhm.
You start creating that experience with yourself. Like, you know what? I've tried such and such before, and it's worked out in the end. I was a tennis player, and I had to overcome a lot of losses and terribleness and
Yes.
I've experienced amazing wins, and I had a beautiful career and played in huge arenas. And because I've seen myself achieve in that arena, when it came to the business arena, I was like, okay, you know what? I've gone through hardship before, and I've overcome and I've achieved, and I can do that here. So we create that identity as
Yes.
a result of doing.
Right. And if we focus on what we have accomplished and take that accomplishment with us moving forward, we won't let things get in the way. Talking of another good book, Who Moved My Cheese by Spencer Johnson, MD. I don't know if you've ever read it. It's a very
Who
thin
would
book.
buy cheese?
Who Moved My Cheese?
Oh,
Where is it right now? I think it's over there. It was written by a guy for people in business in transition. And it's two mice and two men around abundance of cheese. And one day they go, the cheese is gone. And it's the four key reactions. Now, I'm also a true colors coach. And also, I believe very much we are the seasons as well. So those, there was one like, give me back my cheese, I'm going to sue you. The other one, I just don't know what to do. I'm feeling rather paralyzed. The other one's sniffing out the next opportunity. The other one's scurrying around to find where there is some more cheese. And it helps us identify who we are, because if we understand who we are and which way we're thinking, now we've actually got the knowledge, or we can open up to the knowledge to expand on that thinking. I'm going to see you bring it back. Well, do you really want to do that? Because they might contaminate the cheese, and who do you sue anyway? It's gone. Shouldn't you go looking for other cheese? You can't help people who don't want to help themselves. They'll most likely be the people that will starve to death because they're still waiting for someone to sue. But all of the others found the courage to go looking for it. And every time you achieve something, you build a confidence.
Oh, yeah. What was the second to the last mouse? So one, you said the last one was
There is hem and ha. Hem is the Sioux, ha, and there's scurry and sniffy. So sniffing around and scurrying around. Hem and ha, ha eventually gets moving. And that was me. It took me a little while because I'm so loyal. And the hem is give me back. But it's a brilliant little book. They actually have done it in a child's version for change as well. And it's really short to read, but it's so impactful because you question yourself, well, what am I being? Am I just sitting here demanding my rights that I want this? Or am I scurrying and sniffing around for different opportunities? Because it's all about actionism, stepping into action of some kind.
sure, sure. Well, do you have any other questions for me, Sarah, that you'd like, anything, other things you'd like me to touch on? Or
Well, most certainly the art of social media and using it for your business, that is one area that changes virtually daily,
Mhm.
right? What would be the key points that you would say to people that are the fundamental points while interacting, trying to build a business of your own and interact with on social medias?
Absolutely. So I would say the one thing that remains consistent in the midst of a bunch of change is the fact that we need to have those human interactions, those conversations. So what I like to say is first, get your profiles in order. So if you're going to go connect with people on LinkedIn and reaching out with people on LinkedIn, well, you want to make sure your LinkedIn profile is in order so people can see, oh yes, that this is someone that I do want to connect with. So make sure you, in fact, your listeners and audience is welcome to connect with me on LinkedIn to
Hmm.
see. I have my profile nicely fleshed out. It shows how I can be a value, a resource to others, so they know it's a two-way street. That you have value to offer as well. So definitely get the profile in order. Utilize all that space. I see a lot of blank profiles. So make sure you use all that space that LinkedIn gives you to write about the value that you bring, your thoughts, your insights, who you want to be working with, who you want to be connecting with.
Would you say there's
That's
different
one.
social medias for different things? Like LinkedIn is very business orientated, but social
Yes.
media like Facebook or Instagram may be more client based.
So just to clarify, LinkedIn has evolved quite a bit over the
Yeah.
last 20 years. LinkedIn's been around now. So LinkedIn has certainly evolved from, I know I was sharing with you earlier that I was using it primarily as a job seeking tool.
Hmm.
It has certainly evolved into a networking and marketing
Hmm.
tool. So for those who are business owners who are wanting to connect with other income earning higher clientele, LinkedIn is certainly a place. Facebook, definitely a place. If you have a Facebook business page, I see a lot of blank Facebook business pages as well. There's photos, but if you click on those photos, there's no written information.
Right.
Why should I work with you? What sets
Yes.
you apart? What value do you bring?
Hmm.
How do you help your clients? So I would say get all of your, whether it be on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, get all your bios together and make it clear. If you want to see an example of a nice Instagram profile, you can connect with me at Italina K. I don't know if if you share these things in the
It's
show
all
notes.
on your show posting, so people just need to put your name in at stuffdiscoverymedia.com and it will come up there. And I will be sharing the other links on this video at the end.
Yeah, so I see a lot of Instagram bios that just aren't set up correctly. So if you want to see how I have the bullet itemized list, how you help clients, I have that on my profile at Italina K on Instagram. So you want to get all those profiles together. It's like getting your house in order first before you start posting and inviting people in.
Right. I mean, why invite people to a party when you haven't even got any goodies? It's, I personally, when I'm going to interview someone, is I'll look at their about, whether it's linked to Facebook or wherever, and I will go to their site. And I can tell, if it's a site that's proactive or stagnant. And if I can't find any material on you or the about, especially if you want to friend me, it also depends on the conversation we're having in Messenger.
Mhm.
Are you just trying to pitch something to me, or do you wish to build up a relationship and see where it goes? Just get an awful lot of men wanting to hit on a different relationship. Not here for that, thank you. But I do believe, for me, I love people having their own site, because social media is, what you've posted and everything else will just stream down. But if you have that referral, then people, oh, I really like what they're saying, and I want to go and learn more. So you always want to have a site link that can go back where they can see the full
Mhm.
package of you. Do you agree with that?
I absolutely agree. You never know. So it's nice to have your own, that your own ownership. And then I would add to that, yes, know that LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, they're not going anywhere.
Right.
They're, other sites in the past go away. These sites are not there. The three major sites. You definitely want to have a presence, even if it's just two of
Yeah.
those sites. Have a consistent presence. So once you get those profiles in order, now we can look at our posts, start inviting people in, right? So sharing your insights, your thoughts. And this is in contrast to salesy material.
Yes.
It's a lot. Sharing, like I said, I've shared tennis and how it relates to business, and
Hmm.
sharing a piece of you as a human, sharing that tied into your business. That's going to be the posts that are going to have the best performance, the most engagement, and reach the most people.
The engagement. When I see on any of the social medias, I see somebody talking about a certain subject, and I say, great topic. I've done an interview on this. Take a listen and see if it could be of assistance, because that's what I look at my library doing. But people, especially now they're online more and doing their business online, they are desperate for that interaction. And I'm not just talking socially, but even like other people in business. Um, how did you find this? How did you find that? That support. If you're not willing to have that relationship where you are supportive of the other person and it's all about you, what you can gain from them, I know I don't want
Right.
to do anything to do with you, because I'm about collaboration and cohesive support. But the more you support, the more people share who you are, right? Because they like where your heart space is. So the posting isn't about you pitching, right? It's about you
Mhm.
engaging a conversation where people want to know more and will go look you up on your about and everything else. The inspiration begets invitation. So be inspiring.
Oh, that's so good, Sarah. That is so good. The inspiration begets in-
Invitation.
invitation. That's so good. So yeah, so that, and so once we have our profile in order, our posts, and we've got this engagement, people who've liked and followed and commented, it's our job now to reach out to those individuals. And you
Right.
talk about fear.
Yes.
There are times when I'm like, oh, should I reach out to this person? And I just shoot them a message. Hey, I saw you liked my tennis post.
Yeah.
Let's connect.
Hmm.
And they're always like, sure, would love to. And during this pandemic lifestyle we've been living, I've been able to reach, like have video calls, phone calls, you name it, with people all over the country,
Hmm.
thanks to the technology and it
Yes.
being open. So those likes, those comments, message each person.
Right. Exactly. Or you can hashtag, which I'm not very good at the hashtagging. I need to get more prominent with that. But, the whole thing is the interactiveness, the engagement, um, and having, common interests. If we're not seen supporting other people, why should they turn around and support you? Why should they even talk with you, right? So if you are showing yourself as a personable person who really cares about other people, then they're going to want to know you.
That's
And it's that willingness to do that with enthusiasm, not with an agenda. Not every connection you're going to make is going to work out being a business connection. But
mhm.
if they really like you and they come across somebody who's needing services like you've got, they will recommend you first because they've had an interaction with you and they liked who you were.
Exactly, exactly. So I like to wrap those three into a nice little bundle. Like those are, if we're looking to really come from a place of collaboration and being a part of this community as people, and then yes, you are going to come across business opportunities, financial opportunities, job opportunities as a result of having those conversations. Sometimes I think I see people, they stop at the, well, I've got all these likes, I've got all these comments. Well, now you've got to set up phone appointments with those people, set up
Right.
calls with those people, take that next step.
Even if it's just posting under the comment, thank you for posting. What did you
Mhm.
like about it? Or can I help you? Or what do you do? Inquire. Right?
Yes.
Respond and inquire. Again, back to humanity is tired of being a number. They want to be engaged. They want to know that there's somebody sees them, somebody hears them. So, be engaged with them, even if it's just socially to start off with, and then they see you're posting and responding, and it's like, I'd love to know more about you. That's
Mhm.
the inspiration that gets the invitation, right? Because it's all about the invite. And you do not pitch when you meet. You
Mhm.
meet and greet, get to know each other, and then if the interest is there, they're going to say to you, oh, I love what you're doing, right?
Mhm.
And that will organically let it happen. And if you haven't got the time and the patience to do that, and you're just wanting quick, 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 then that arena is not going to get you terribly far, because it's really about the rooting, yeah, of those seeds growing, isn't it?
Mhm. Farming versus
Yeah.
hunting.
Oh, I like that. Yes, yes. We're tired of the hunting material, because we feel like everybody's out to shoot us. They're just wanting to shoot over their program. Sign up now, and we don't want that kind of rah rah. We
Right.
want a hallelujah, coming from everybody coming together. But I like that hunting, and yeah, instead of farming, let's farm more.
Yes.
Yeah, it's so much more fruitful. There's growth to be had there. Hunting is, where does that go?
Well, not sustainable.
No, and also I think kind of the wrong heart set around it too. I
Mhm.
want to deal with people I know that come from their heart, because then I know they're genuine. They love what they do. They do what they do. They use it on themselves, and are so eager and happy to help somebody else find what they need to do and be supportive of that. That's really what it's about.
You got it. You got it.
So what programs are you offering right now in this 2021?
Sure. A lot of, I mentioned earlier about getting our profiles, for example, in order before we start inviting people and making sure we're putting our best virtual foot forward. That's something that we actually help people with. And rewriting, I sit down with you, get to know you, and we rewrite your pages for you. For those who want help in learning how to do it themselves, they can get coaching. So there's those two options done for you, or coaching. And then I also hold classes. The group classes have been wonderful. I've been holding LinkedIn and Instagram classes. So how to leverage LinkedIn and Instagram, make the most of LinkedIn and Instagram. The first one is coming up February 9th. There's one February 9th and February 16th. They're around lunchtime, Pacific Standard Time.
Wonderful. It's online branding marketing.now.site, right?
Yes, yes.
So there is an art to it. And there is an art to the sales that we do. We all, yes, we all want to sell. It's our bread and butter. It's what keeps us going. But there is an art to it. And your art is the networking, building relationships, creating content that people really want to know more about, um, being persistent, which is really important, being respectful, right?
Mm.
Oh, you're doing it wrong. Oh, you shouldn't go to that person. Come to me. None of that. So important to have. So you've got group things happening there. So if people want to just join into the group, you've got one-on-one.
Coaching, yep,
Yep.
one-on-one coaching, and then we have the done for you, where you
Right.
can delegate that the social media piece and have it done for you. Have your profiles rewritten for you. Have your posts done for you.
Yeah.
Professional quality.
Right. And for many people, that's not where their strength is. The strength is in what they do. But this whole online thing isn't their strength. So if they can hand that over to someone else who sees them, hears them, and knows how to represent them, then they're going to get that professional look and sound. Uh, I was interviewing somebody who had somebody else do all her social media posting, And then she went up to this person live when she met them and said, it's me, hi, and started conversing as they had in the conversation. The woman said, I don't know who you are. And it's because her assistant did it all under her name, right?
Mhm.
So where was the interaction there? It wasn't coming from the person. So you can definitely assist people on all the tiresome nitty gritty, but it's still got to be something that comes from you, doesn't it?
And that's why we have a beautiful system where I literally get to know all of our clients so that we can represent them well. And they know on their end that they're going to follow up with engaging, responding to
Mm.
comments, etc.
Right. So you're also on Facebook under what?
Yeah, it's Helena Kirknish. It's my full name. You can friend me, let me know that you saw me on today's show, and I'll be happy to connect.
Can you spell your name out for people who are listening to the audio left?
My first name is Italina, Italina, and my last name starts with a K. That's why on Instagram you'll find me at Italina K, or if you're on Clubhouse, the latest new social media site, Italina K, and my last name is Kirknis,
Goodness. A beautiful name.
Thank
Um,
you.
and
Typically, when people just type in my first name, might come up.
right, exactly. So yeah, they probably don't even have to do the following name, but again, there is an art to social media, there's an art to interaction. And if you're feeling overwhelmed and it's moving around too quickly, and what do I do now? Or, I've got my business that I used to be one-on-one with people, now I'm online and I don't know how to promote it. They need someone like you who can guide them because, as you said, and as I've said too, I go to the about and I go to the site, I go to look at who you are. And if you haven't got anything there, or you're misrepresented, or it's too long-winded, you know, or it's too me, then, people aren't going to be interested to go any further. So, have you set something up for them that looks professional, but also personable and invitational? That is the opening up the door.
Yes, yes. Yeah, that's our specialty. I say there's a ton of social media companies out there.
Yeah.
They'll post for you. You can pay like $50 a year. They'll post for you. Us, our specialty is the fact that I actually sit down, I have a questionnaire. I get to know
Mm,
each and every single one of our clients, and we touch base throughout our relationship so that I can actually share content, write content on their behalf in their voice, their messaging, and they get to even approve all content before anything goes
right.
online.
And that content is kind of throwing the seeds out there. And then when a seed begins to grow, because you're watering and nurturing it, that's when that conversation and that interaction starts happening.
Yes, you got it.
Well, we need a lot more farming of beautiful flowers. You know, no hunting of the flowers, none of that. We need the inspiration. We need to help people, get engaged and understand none of us are where we are today because we sat back and waited for it to happen. We all got interactive, persistent, just step up and try it. Have you ever done it before? No. Well, you know what? How do I know if I'm good or bad at it if I don't try? Right. And if you do try and you fall on your backside and you go, this isn't for me, well, what did I learn from that? Maybe it's just that this isn't for me. All right. So go and
Mhm.
explore something that is for you. But patience and persistence, it's so important.
For sure, for sure.
Okay. One last time, your website is?
My my website is well, I'll say my Instagram and that my social media sites, so they can find my Instagram, I'm sorry, my website through the social media sites. So Instagram at Italina K, IT as in Tom, ALINAK. And then Facebook, just easily type in my name, Italina Kirkness. Same thing with LinkedIn. I even have a YouTube channel. It's just youtube.com/Italina Kirkness.
Excellent. Um, Wonderful. I mean, we need help with this. This is not just, during the end of the pandemic, it's still going to be a way of life for people. We're not going to go back to quote normal. This
Mhm.
will be the new norm. It's already becoming that way. And it saves a great deal of time. That doesn't mean to say that you don't have to set up meeting people in person. But how about you start online, and if you can, then you make an appointment to meet with them in person. But
Mhm.
it's use this avenue because it's one that's here to stay and one
Oh
that
yeah,
is going to be more prevalent than any other way of connecting with people. So learn how to use it properly, right?
so much opportunity in
Yeah,
this. So much opportunity.
stacks.
I have a
There's
national, yeah, I have a national presence, clients in 12 different states right now, thanks to the ability to meet with people online.
right. Yeah. This opens up a whole new world, doesn't it?
It
You know,
sure
a
does.
whole new universe to us, and that it doesn't matter if the person's from another state, another country, another anything. It just becomes wondrous and exploring, you know, of how
Hmm.
do you do it there? You know, come and share. And if we're open to what other people are doing, we can open up so much more to what we can do. No
Yes,
judgment, right?
yes.
No judgment, no fear, and no hunting. Seek out, but don't hunt. Right. Well,
Yeah,
thank you.
oh, I was going to say, if your audience wants to see some of the fun things we're doing via video, definitely there's this one YouTube video where there's like 5 of me on the screen, and each different one of me is giving a different social media tip. So I would definitely encourage going to my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Italina Kirkness, to see some videos,
Most
fun
certainly.
videos.
And those videos are really one where you know you're taking the time directly to kind of speak to someone. Because that's what a video does. People can think, oh, she's just talking to me. And take note and apply, right? It's not just
Okay.
about the inspiration and the invitation, but it's also about the actionism. You know, apply. You like the sound of that? You haven't done it? Apply. Right? So don't wait for someone to come and do it for you. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us here today, love.
Thank you, Sarah. I don't take lightly that you've had me here today. I really appreciate you.
My pleasure. And I'm glad that you redirected, because you're certainly needed right now for sure. And, you know, may your orchestra keep growing, or your forest, or your beautiful trees. May the farm keep growing. All right. Love. Until next time, folks. Bye for now. We hope you enjoyed the show. We look forward to bringing you more shows. Please go to selfdiscoverymedia.com/shows and you will see the incredible lineup of genres and shows that we have for you. We are here to make a difference in your life. Thank you for listening.